Only two
But
questions. One is Rashmi Karnawat has asked the question, Sir, how long we take care of our elderly parents? It has been over 6 months since they took their vaccinations. It is getting very, very difficult to live with restrictions. We really are at loss. It's a very practical question. And the other challenge is that the Delta waves swept throughout India. So that is another concern a lot of people have. Do you think that there will be another variant which may come in? This question was asked. I'll tell you the name of the gentleman who asked this question. Uh, uh, so, so is there any chance that there will be any other variant coming up for the next wave? So those are the two questions, Rahul.
yeah, so I think both the questions are very, very important. Rashmi ji, I think your question is something which most of us are actually facing a difficult practical problem. Though our parents are vaccinated, we all want to protect them as much as we can, and we want to make sure that they are safe. Now, it is practically impossible to actually ask somebody to be locked down in the house and not step out of the house. So, my suggestion would be that you will have to be a little bit innovative. If your parents are fully vaccinated, ensure that they are double masked, and they could possibly go, if you live in an apartment system, they could possibly go onto a terrace or below your building into the garden, which or the space which you have, which is offered. Try to avoid crowded places. Try to avoid confrontation with other people within a few yards of each other. And I think they can safely take a round in the building. They can safely walk on the footpath if they have any place, or a small garden if you have near your house. I think that kind of a exercise will not only make them feel better, but would be also good for their overall well-being. Their movement, the fresh air, and all those things will actually help them to feel a little bit better, because all of us being locked down or bogged down by the entire scenario in which go in this COVID pandemic, and elderly are no different. So I think you can easily do that. The second question which was asked is, if the COVID wave has already been swept by the Delta variant, where are we going to get the second wave, third wave from? Are we looking at a new variant? Unfortunately, Westfield 90 has asked this question. I don't know the name of the person, but unfortunately, Professor Saab, the reality is that virus is going to protect itself. It is meant to change its clothes, like its structure, like we change clothes every day. And while changing its structure, while making a copies of itself, it has one defective copy which gets made, and then that defective copy gets replicated, and then you may have another defect in that. And when that defect happens into a receptor binding site, you actually develop a copy of that virus, which becomes the virus which can either infect more, or can cause more harmful effects on the person, or both together. And if that happens, and vice versa is true as well, it may become less infectious and less lethal as well. But we are worried about the more lethal and more infectious one. And if that happens, it becomes a variant of interest or a variant of concern. And that is what is happening, unfortunately. When will this stop? When you have a sizable number of population which has got some protection against the current strain of viruses, you will find that the virus does not have a new person to go and infect and replicate itself. And then this mutation process will significantly slow down. Currently, the world scientists and WHO, everybody knows that most viruses would mutate around 26 times. So it is 26 times the COVID-19 virus is mutating in the year. So that's around every 2 weeks it's changing its structure, roughly. And then we had this C.1.2, which was a variant from in South Africa, which actually was found to be mutating almost once every week, 48 to 50 mutations in a year. If you have that fast replication of a mutant variant, it will have a defective piece come out one day, which will be more infectious and more lethal. I think that's what we need to worry about. We need to worry about that kind of a thing. That's why vaccination is the most important thing which we can do.